So how often would you say you sit down and watch Willy Wonka with your family?
Not very. I do come across it as I'm flipping through channels, and I have my favorite scenes, like
The ones you're in.
well, also Pure Imagination when Gene sings that song. I think it's one of my favorites, and of course the ones I'm in.
Naturally. Of course, it's hard to not look at yourself, even if you're not in the center of the frame, or if you're not the one who's in the midst of the action. You want to see how you're reacting to the main action, that kind of stuff. I've seen it, I don't know, a lot over my life, but most recently with my fiance. We hadn't seen the Blu-ray, so we watched it as Blu-ray, which was fun.
Now, what would you say is your favorite aspect of the fantasy realm?
You mean like favorite scene? Favorite aspect? What do you mean by aspect of the fantasy realm?
What do you like about fantasy? What's your favorite, what do you think draws people towards fantasy, I would say?
I think that people like to see ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances because they identify. I'm answering this question because I know you're a writer or you're representing writers. They like to see people in extraordinary circumstances because they identify with that extraordinary circumstance, like superheroes, like fantasy circumstances. We like to think that there's something beyond the day-to-day doldrums of our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's your dreams on film.
And what do you think about the remake starring Johnny Depp?
It was different.
My standard answer is, what did you think?
Didn't see it.
You didn't see it? Okay, well, that's a valid choice.
It was very different. Our film had a very basic, timeless message. Good things happen to good kids, bad things happen to bad kids. I'm not quite sure where that one was going. And it was dark. I mean, it was more, it stuck more to the lines of the book. But I think my biggest objection was that Violet was all computer generated. She was not in the styrofoam ball. She was not suffering. The Oompa Loompas without their driver's licenses were not banging her into the door frames. She was not seeing chrome-plated gnats with the director saying, "God, do it again." She was just this little happy little image over there on the left bottom of the screen. I'm like, really? I suffered for my role.
And so you mentioned the good versus bad. Do you think enough films have that today?
Maybe they do. I'm not sure it's quite as timeless or simply put as ours. And you know, we meet so many parents who say, I tell my child, you don't behave, you're going to end up in the size of my Teevee, or you're going to end up, blown up like a blueberry, or, bad things are going to happen to you. And they use our characters to actually insert into their daily interactions with their kids. And
so we're the boogeyman.
We are the bad result. If you are bad,
then the boogeyman will come and take you away if you're bad, if you're naughty. I talk to parents that say, I used to put in your DVD whenever we needed a little private time. It would be the video babysitter. I talk to parents that say all sorts of things, but that's one of the things that they say. I think that one of the biggest problems with the new movie is they made a very neurotic choice for Wonka, and so the relationship between Charlie and Wonka is all screwed up. In the first movie, he's distanced from Charlie a little bit throughout most of the movie, but then they come together at the end when he says, "My boy, you've done it," and everybody cries. It's a very emotional scene.
Good things happen to good kids. Yeah.
Doesn't happen in the second one because he's so, it's like he doesn't even want to be touched, no less touched here.
It's just a very, very different film. And in my personal opinion, Gene Wilder is Wonka. I adore Johnny Depp. I do. But that's a hard act to follow. I mean, Wilder is Wonka.
And what would you say were your favorite sweets on the set?
Sweets? Sweets? I don't know. They did a lot with marzipan that I seem to remember liking marzipan. They would dye it and mold it into different things or whatever. But
Gum. Gum was
that gum was tasty,
absolutely
actually.
Gum.
The stuff that they used as gum wasn't gum, actually. It was a little sort of taffy thing. Remember, it had two different flavors, and it was taffy. That was tasty. I liked those.
A lot of it was bazooka.
but not that one. Remember, it was like a caramelly sort of thing. Right. That was tasty. I liked her gum. That's a good answer to that question for me.
Buy gum, it's gum.
And what are your favorite book adaptations or musicals today?
Lion King.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I like Lion King. That's good. Musical adaptations. Wow. I don't know. My girlfriend would kill me. She's working in casting right now. My fiance, she's working at a place called Telsey and Company, and they're casting a lot of the Broadway shows right now. She'd probably have 19 answers to this question. Musical adaptations. I don't know. If I think of one, I'll tell you.
And what would you
Willy
say?
Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is one of my favorites.
Yeah. And your favorite other doll books?
I remember a short story. I'm giving you all the racy answer. I remember a short story that I read in Playboy magazine in about, I don't know, 79 or something like that. It was called Bitch. And it was about a pheromone-based perfume. So a woman would put on this pheromone-based perfume, or actually I think it was a guy that was using it to attract women. But doll would often take a sort of a standard theme and turn it on its head. There's also that short story about the one where the inspector is sorry, I'm being slow here. The Scotland Yard inspector comes to the house of the guy that he thinks committed the murder, or the woman that committed the murder, and it turns out that she killed the guy with a leg of lamb, with a frozen leg of lamb, but she serves it to him, right? So he ends up eating the murder weapon. That's the sort of thing that Roald Dahl likes to do. You take like, whoops, no, it's not like that. It's like that actually. So, yeah, I like that one too.
For me?
Yeah, the other Roald Dahl things.
Yeah. Roald Dahl he was a very interesting man, interesting take on things, and very dark take. James and the Giant Peach. I'm not sure I ever saw Bitch or
They're short stories.
The leg of lamb thing, but I think one of my favorites was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. How about that?
All right. Well, those are all my questions, so thank you so much for your time.
Our pleasure.